Alright, so Harman actually did it. We got Phoenix 200 in medium format. Honestly, I would have preferred an updated formula, but whatever. So, will I like Phoenix 200 better in 120 than in 35mm? Let's see. Hey, how's it going? I'm Adam, and welcome to my channel. Well, after weeks of speculations of what Harman's Instagram post meant when they said, "sometimes size matters," we finally got an answer, and their new color film, Phoenix 200, that was released in December, made its way to medium format. It was nice of them to add the word "sometimes." Anywho, the big 120. Personally, I had mixed feelings. I would have preferred an updated formula rather than a new format, because when I first shot it in my 35mm video, I wasn't a huge fan and I saw a lot of room for improvement, like the contrast, grain, halation, and sometimes weird colors. Harman was really open and said it was their first try at color film and that they were open to feedback so that they can better this film in the future. But just like calling my photo repair shop about my Pentax 6.7, it isn't ready yet. But I guess having this film in a larger format will get rid of some of the problems. So enough jibber jabber and let's shoot. I was near the Garbara area here in Poznań and I brought along with me the Yashica Mat-124g, cause after seeing the movie Lee, it inspired me to pick up a TLR again. Alright, so we got two rolls of Phoenix 200 and 120. For the first roll, I'm going to be shooting it at 160, the same that I did for my 35mm video, cause at box speed it's just too dark and too contrasty for my liking. And for the second roll, we're going to be rating it at 100, so we'll be overexposing it by one stop. So yeah, let's load in some film. It sure is saturated and the halation is still there, but to me it doesn't seem as overbearing as it is in 35mm. First impressions. So did the larger negative get rid of some of the quirks? Definitely some. In 35mm, the grain was so strong that I would often question if things were in focus, and it even made me question if the Leica R8 was alright. We even had a fight after that and went speaking to each other for weeks. Thank you for that, Harman. But now without a doubt, I can see that it is in focus and just in general, better quality. Other than that, the characteristics that catches my eye at first glance, it is really saturated, warm, and has high contrast. And just in general has a baked look without much room for editing. So once again, these are those moments that I wish this camera had an eye-level viewfinder, but we'll try to make it work. Yeah, the shadow details went to the grocery store and never came back. Avoid high contrast scenes, the exposure latitude isn't great, sort of think of it like slide film. I sorta enjoy these little shapes caused by the reflection from the window across the building. I think it's pretty cool. And here we have a glimpse of my biggest beef with this film stock, but I will talk more about it later. Let's talk about the ISO. Now, even though the box says 200, I personally don't know anybody who shoots it at box speed. Many users just shoot it at 100 and have it develop normally, or they would have their film pulled by one stop. Pull processing is a development technique that is done by the lab. They take away the film quicker than it should be in the magical development soup, so instead of a well done film, we have it medium rare. This process takes away a bit of the contrast and hopefully gives us a glimpse of what's hiding in the shadows, which this film can definitely benefit from. Now in order to do this, let's say with Phoenix 200 and I would want to have it pulled one stop, I would have to rate the entire roll at 100 and then tell the lab that I would like to have it pulled one stop. Don't forget the magic word, please. Keep in mind, labs sometimes charge a bit more for this process. Harman even says it's best to rate this film at 100 to 200. Many users prefer to shoot it at 160, and it is not recommended to push this film, which is a different process that is the exact opposite of pulling.
Alright, showing me f3.5 1/60th. Let's hope this isn't blurry.
It is a bit blurry, but I gotta say the greens are really nice with this film.
Alright, first row done. Now we're gonna do the second one and rate it at 100.
I feel like these are the best types of scenes to shoot with this film, that are mainly green and orange. It is definitely its strong suit. Let's talk about the grain. Well, even in medium format, the grain is still visible, less so when rated at 100. Plus, thanks to the low exposure latitude, the grain can get a bit ugly. But honestly, after shooting it in 35mm, this is extremely pleasant. It's sort of like comparing Leon and Resident Evil 4 on the PS2 and on the PS5. Yeah, major difference. Anyway, I made it towards the city, saw this Cadillac, and I embraced the film photography cliche. But some of the images were, let's say, a bit interesting. Remember when I said I had beef with this film? Well, this is it. I don't know why, but once I went towards the city and rated it at 100, the blues decided to reveal themselves and basically said, I am the captain now. I was really excited about these shots because I remembered that the reds are amazing on this film, but instead I got Avatar vibes. I took 6 shots of this car and there was only one that I could sort of save with post, which is this one. But for reference, this was the scan. So this is why I said stick to green/orange surroundings, not have a lot of colors in the composition, and avoid shaded areas, cause the colors can sometimes go Missy Elliott and lose control, especially the dark areas in the image. It's best to shoot a scene with even lighting.
Alright, so we're almost done with the second row. Yeah, I know, pretty quick, but once I saw that Cadillac, I just started shooting away. I even got a little bit too excited and forgot to switch the ISO. So the first 3 shots were at 200 ISO, I didn't show that. And then I had to repeat those 3 shots in 100 ISO. So basically I wasted 3 frames. So I got like 1 or 2 shots left. So I'm gonna walk around a bit and finish the row.
And that's the end of the rolls and the video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. So my final thoughts on Phoenix 200 in 120. It's not for me. The high contrast, the unpredictability of the colors, and high saturation is just not my style. Now, I repeat, it's not my style. When I first got the scans, I immediately sent them to my friend group. Yes, I have those. And some of them were fans and even loved the colors. Even the blue disasters. And that's when it hit me. Just because it's something that I wouldn't shoot again, it doesn't necessarily make it a bad film stock. If it helps some people achieve a certain look, a certain vision, then Harman did his job. I'm just not the intended audience. Sorta like how I didn't like Asteroid City, but others did. But to be honest, I'm glad that there are more options in color film. We definitely need it, cause so far Kodak has had a tight grip in that region. So I am happy that I tried it, and I can't wait for what Harman comes up with next. Yo, it's me from the future. Just finished playing GTA 6. It wasn't worth the wait. Anyway, I'm recording this after the whole talking head Phoenix 200 video thing, and after that video I actually did some research, and apparently this film stock looks way better when you do DSLR scanning. Apparently these older Noritsu Frontier scanners just can't keep up with this film. It could be due to the lack of an orange mask or simply something in the sauce. I have no idea. But Harman does have a datasheet for each scanner, like the Frontier, Noritsu, etc. And basically a datasheet for a recommended scanning process. But even with that datasheet, these scanners just can't keep up. Anyway, I checked out Bray's video. He goes more in depth with this and recommends DSLR scanning. Now, keep in mind, I don't have the best scanning setup. I'm currently working on it, but I did rescan these with my Canon R6 and 85mm RF lens, and I converted these with Negative Lab Pro. And I gotta say, it looks totally different and even acceptable. It's not as contrasty. I could tame the colors, and just in general, a totally different film stock. But I still gotta say, it is still grainy, the contrast is still there, it still has low exposure latitude, and those annoying blue disasters. So if you're planning to shoot this film, I highly recommend doing a DSLR scanning and convert it with Negative Lab Pro. Anyway, like, subscribe, do all that jazz. Take care.